You are probably killing your car every single day without even realizing it. And the worst part is, you think you are actually doing the right thing by taking care of it. We all have these habits we picked up from our parents or heard at a coffee shop, but modern engineering has moved on, and some of those old school tricks are now essentially slow motion suicide for your engine and transmission. Most people treat their cars like fragile glass, but the truth is, these machines are built for performance and durability, yet we constantly undermine that with bad daily routines. If you want to keep your ride running past 200,000 miles without shelling out thousands at the shop, we need to talk about the silent killers hiding in your daily driving habits. Let's start with something every single one of us has done while rushing to get the kids to school or hitting the morning commute. You pull into the gas station, pop the fuel door, and just let that gas cap dangle against the paint, or maybe you balance it on the roof like it is a coaster. It seems harmless, right? Well, that gas cap is a precision seal. If you do not tuck it into the designated slot inside the fuel door, you are inviting road grime and microparticles to sit on that rubber gasket. Once that dirt gets into your fuel tank, it starts attacking your fuel pump and can eventually clog your high-pressure injector, leading to a lean burn condition that will trigger your check engine light. And while we are on the subject, check that rubber seal for cracks. If it is dry rotted, it cannot maintain the vacuum pressure your evaporative emission system needs, and suddenly you are failing your state inspection because of a $12 piece of rubber. Speaking of maintenance, let's talk about your car's brain. Have you ever replaced a sensor or a throttle body, plugged it in, and the car still idles like it is having a nervous breakdown? That is because your car's ECU is literally a creature of habit. It has spent thousands of miles learning the data patterns of your old failing parts, like how to compensate for a clogged mass airflow sensor or a sticky idle air control valve. Even after you bolt on the fresh, high-quality replacement, the computer is still running off those old, corrupted fuel maps and ignition timing tables. You have to force a reset. Whether you use a professional scan tool to clear those learned adaptations or follow the specific idle relearn procedure for your make and model, you have to wipe that slate clean. If you do not, you are just masking the problem, and you will be back at the parts counter in a month wondering why the light is back on. While you are getting that engine tuned up, take a quick second to subscribe to the channel so you can keep getting these deep dive technical tips that keep your wallet full and your car on the road. Now, let's address one of the biggest myths that people cling to even in the dead of winter. You walk out to your car on a freezing morning, start the engine, and sit there for 10 minutes waiting for the needle to move so you can let the engine warm up. Stop doing that. Seriously, stop. Idling in your driveway is one of the worst things you can do for a modern direct injection engine. When you sit at idle, the combustion chamber is not hot enough to burn the fuel efficiently. That unburnt fuel ends up washing the protective oil film off your cylinder walls and trickling down into your oil pan, which thins out your lubricant and leads to premature bearing wear. Plus, your engine generates almost no heat at idle, so that moisture at least side the crankcase never gets hot enough to evaporate, eventually turning into a nasty sludge that ruins your oil passage. The correct way? Start it, give it 30 seconds for the oil pressure to build and circulate to the top of the head, and then drive away gently. Keep the RPMs low, below 3,000, until the coolant hits operating temp. This loads the engine just enough to build heat quickly and safely without causing long-term damage. While you are out on the road, pay attention to your gear changes. We have all seen that person in the parking lot who shifts from reverse into drive while the car is still rolling backward. That is a massive stress test for your transmission internals. Even with modern electronic shift management, you are forcing the internal clutch packs and planetary gear sets to fight the momentum of the entire vehicle. That split second you think you are saving by not coming to a complete stop is going to cost you a full transmission rebuild down the road. If you feel a clunk, a surge, or even a slight hesitation when you shift, that is your transmission screaming for help. It is the beginning of the end for those gears. And honestly, coming to a full stop takes literally half a second. Do not trade your transmission's health for a blink of an eye. Another huge factor that most drivers completely ignore is the physical connection between their body and the machine. I see people driving with their seat reclined like they are in a living room, or sitting so close to the steering wheel that their chest is touching the airbag cover. This is not just a comfort issue. It is a life or death scenario. If your seat is too far back, your reaction time to hit the brake pedal in an emergency is physically limited. If you are too close, an airbag deployment can cause massive trauma. Your seat should be at about a 100-degree angle, and you should be able to rest your wrists on the top of the steering wheel without your shoulders leaving the seat back. And please, align that headrest. It is not there to lean your head on. It is there to prevent whiplash in a rear-end collision. Your head should be centered against it. Before we move to the next high-stakes driving tip, this is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay sharp behind the wheel. Now, we have all felt that heart-stopping moment when the back end of the car decides it wants to go a different direction than the front. If you ever find yourself in a skid, the absolute worst thing you can do is look at the object you are about to hit. Your hands will follow your eyes, and you will steer yourself right into the guardrail. You have to look where you want to go. If the rear end is kicking out to the right, you steer to the right. It is that simple counter steer. The biggest mistake people make is panicking and overcorrecting, which causes the car to snap back in the other direction. You want to ease the steering wheel back toward the center as soon as you feel the tires start to regain their bite on the asphalt. Speaking of grip, you need to start reading the road surface like a veteran racer. That shiny rainbow-colored patch on the asphalt is not just pretty, it is a trap of oil or coolant waiting to send you spinning. A matte, rough-looking surface is your friend because it provides mechanical grip. If the road looks wet but there is no reflection, it might just be damp, but if it is glistening, treat it like ice. Also, be hyper aware of bridge decks and shaded areas in the morning. They freeze hours before the rest of the road does, and that little patch of invisible black ice is exactly what catches people off guard. Finally, what happens when your car suddenly decides it has had enough? You are cruising down the highway, go to pass, and the car just cuts power, refusing to go past 40 mph with a light flashing on the dash. Do not panic. That is your car's limp mode. It is essentially the computer protecting your engine and transmission from permanent, catastrophic failure because it detected an issue that could destroy the internals if you kept pushing. It might be a bad transmission solenoid, a sensor issue, or extreme heat. The best thing you can do is pull over, turn the car off, and let it sit for 5 minutes. Sometimes a simple hard reboot of the computer system is enough to get you home, but if the light stays on, do not force it. You are better off calling a tow truck than turning a $200 sensor repair into a $4,000 engine replacement. To wrap things up, taking care of your car is not about buying the most expensive oil or fancy additives. It is about respecting the mechanical limits of the components you drive every single day. From letting your engine warm up under a light load to properly resetting your computer after a repair and always coming to a full stop before changing gears, these habits add years of life to your vehicle. I really want to know what you guys think about these points, and I am curious to hear your stories. Have you ever had a car go into limp mode at the worst possible time? Or maybe you have a trick for checking your tires that you swear by? Drop your comments down below, share your experiences with your own vehicles, and let's keep this discussion going. If you found this video helpful and want to see more content on how to keep your car running like a dream, please hit that subscribe button, join our community, and I will catch you in the next one. Drive safe out there.